New York City awoke this morning to news that what had been a confusing mayoral race for some had become truly baffling, as it turns out that in doing the second tally for that ranked choice voting election, officials had mistakenly counted about 135,000 dummy ballots, so-called dummy ballots that were supposed to be used for testing the system, but never included in the count. To take us through what happened and where it leaves the race, we welcome now Susan Lerner. She's Executive Director of Common Cause New York. So, Susan, welcome back. Great to have you here. What do
Thank
we
you.
know about what happened?
Well, we know it was a human error. We know there was no problem with any of the technology. The optical scanners that read the ballots were not the problem. The ranked choice voting technology was working exactly as it was supposed to. As you mentioned, there was a human error. The sample ballots should have been wiped out of the system. And in Queens, an employee made a mistake and failed to wipe them out, and they got added into the count, and that was simply a human error that now the board, I think, has put the steps in place to make sure the next week's tabulation runs without incident. But you know, Dave, the board made the decision to run incomplete, unofficial results, and that was something we urged them not to do. That it's inherently confusing to try and explain this isn't actually the official count. It doesn't include over 120,000 absentee ballots.
So, Susan, as you know, our current mayor, Mayor de Blasio, came out today, just before we came to air, and said he wants a recanvas, which, as I understand it, says basically, let's start from scratch and count them all from scratch. Is he right?
I think that's way premature. The tabulation software is perfectly capable of conducting an accurate count. However, if, and you know, that's a really big if, a hand count later becomes necessary after all of the absentee ballots are in and we have a final result, Common Cause New York will be working with the board to make sure it's done correctly. But at this time, I don't see the need for that.
So let me ask you what this means for the election, as far as you can understand it. Will this delay the time that we get the final results? Will it lead to challenges to the results because of this unfortunate human error, as you say?
No, it does not delay the results. There is the time that it takes to fold the absentee ballots into the process is governed by state law, by very pro-voter time periods built into state law to allow the absentee ballots to arrive to arrive at the board, which was this past Tuesday. And then we have a very generous cure period of 7 business days in which voters are notified if they made errors in their absentee ballots, like they forgot to date the envelope, and so they would not be disenfranchised. These are recent changes in the law, very pro-voter, and that means that the final tally of the absentee ballots won't be ready to go until end of the day on July the 9th, which is a Friday. And so we're expecting the final count will go forward starting on July the 12th. And that has nothing to do with ranked choice voting. We have the same time period for the Manhattan DA race, which is not a ranked choice voting race.
So, Susan, I feel like the 4-year-old in the back of the car. When are we going to be there? When will we know who the candidates are for mayor?
So, as I said, it's going to be the week of July the 12th because of the requirements of state law to be sure that only eligible absentee ballots are counted and that no eligible absentee ballot is unfairly disallowed.